Namaste friends. Today we will analyze the chart of a native who is into stock markets. So basically it talks about speculation. Now whenever we talk about speculation we look at the fifth house. So in KP we look at the fifth cuspal sublord, which in this case you can see is Saturn. So when we analyze Saturn, we get to know whether or not stock trading or speculation is promised for the native or is promised in the chart first of all. So when we analyze Saturn, Saturn is in the 10th house and owns 6 and 7. So we know that in KP every planet gives the result of its star lord. So Saturn is untenanted here, you can see, which means Saturn will, let's say, give out more than 80% of the results, but Saturn will also give the results of Rahu. Rahu is in the fifth house. And when we talk about Rahu or Ketu, we will also have to consider the sign lord. So Saturn will give results of Rahu. The confirmation has to come from the sublord and its star lord. So Rahu and its star lord, which is Ketu. Now, as I mentioned earlier, whenever we look at Rahu and Ketu at any level, we also need to consider the sign lord for the respective planet, meaning Ketu will give results of Mercury and Rahu will give results of Jupiter. Now, when we take a look at the houses that are getting signified, you can see that Saturn is giving results of 10, 6, and 7. 10 is more like a negation to the 11th house, but this alone will not determine the promise. So, when we look at Rahu is actually in the fifth house. So, Rahu is a very strong significator of the fifth house, and Rahu is a planet which is super intelligent. You can say Rahu in fifth house gives super intelligence, super creativity for the native. And Rahu is also giving results of Jupiter, which is in the sixth house and owns 5 and 8. Now, whenever we are looking at the success in speculation, we need to consider houses 2, 5, 6, and 11. 10 may not be an exact negation because 10 also indicates status, but in this case let's take that as part of negation. But even then, when you analyze Rahu is giving results of 6, 5, and 8. 8 is also sudden. 8 can be a problem, 8 can also recommend something sudden gain. 5 and 8 is a sudden gain, right? And the results are determined by the sublord for Saturn, which is again Rahu. Now, when I look at Rahu again, I get results of Jupiter and Ketu. Ketu is in the 11th house. 11th house is the house of gains. But as I said earlier, for Ketu, you also need to look at Mercury. Mercury is in the 11th house. So, when we tie the four planets together, meaning the fifth CSL, its star lord, its sublord, and the sublord's star lord, which is in this case Rahu's star lord, which is Ketu, we get the numbers that are required for success in speculation. So we can conclude that speculation is promised in this particular chart. However, the native is losing money more than 90% of the time. So, what exactly is creating this issue? Although there is a promise, we see Rahu is in the fifth house. Yes, Rahu can give sudden gains or sudden losses, but still losing more than 90% of the time is very strange, although there is a promise. So now, having analyzed this from KP perspective, let's look at the AstroVastu perspective. What exactly is creating losses for the native? So when we go to, when we scan planet to house aspects, we can see that the fifth CSL Saturn is actually impacting the second house. Second house is the house of finance, right? Wealth or finance. And you can also see that Saturn is actually bothering the fifth house. Fifth house is the house of speculation. So when Saturn itself is disturbing the second house and the fifth house, obviously the native cannot gain from speculative trading. It is going to impact the bank balance. So you can see very clearly in this chart that although speculation is promised for the native is losing money because Saturn as fifth CSL is bothering the second house and the fifth house. So I hope this helps. Thank you.